Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to another PalaView market research video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the largest asset classes on Earth so that you can understand how this financial system is built. Because finance and value itself, the very concept of value, is built on top of different types of asset classes. Okay. Liquidity all comes from somewhere, debt and leverage all comes from somewhere. Okay. So we're going to start to understand everything from the bottom up. And the very bottom of finance is not banks, it's real estate. As you can see, all global real estate is projected to be worth somewhere between 217 trillion, which is what this chart is showing, and 290 trillion ish. Okay. That is the foundation of global finance. It is real estate. It is the land of Earth, okay? Because the land of Earth also hosts all the commodities, it hosts all the business, right? Every business is operated from a piece of real estate, even if it's all fully remote company, right? Now, we're going to compare this to all the money in the world that includes physical money and paper, and digital computer money, right? Like the number on a screen that the Federal Reserve prints, right, and creates. Okay. So this is the foundation. Everything is built on top of this. Okay. So this is another way to look at it, right? Global real estate compared to all of these other sectors that we're familiar with. You can see crypto here is a tiny little sliver. You can barely even see it on this chart. The S&P 500, which we talked about in another video recently, is 20 trillion ish. I thought it was around 14 trillion the last time I saw the data, but it doesn't really matter. It's still a tiny fraction of what real estate includes. And if we compare it, right, to the global commercial banking sector, everyone's always talking about how bankers are the most powerful, blah, blah. And there's some truth to that, but it's not, it's an incomplete truth, right? The banking is not the foundational layer of finance, it is real estate, right? And that is why, I always use this example, but Grant Cardone very wisely points out that if you were to go to Bank of America, right, and you were to ask for a loan to buy Bank of America stock, they will say, go away. But if you go and you say, hey, I want to buy this building, hey, I want to buy this home, hey, I want to do this with this land, blah, 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 they are going to talk to you. They're going to lend money to you because the global banking business, the business of Earth, is built on top of the debt, okay, the debt investments made by banks to people who are either developing real estate, who are buying existing real estate, etc. Okay? That in of itself is its own video. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT, hey, what are the largest asset classes, right? And they gave me this answer and I removed the top one, okay? So as you can see, stock market, about 30 trillion, gold, 12.39 trillion, and all of cryptocurrencies, 2 trillion, and commodities that don't include gold is around the same, is like a little bit, I think it's like 15, 16 trillion. It's not shown here, but that's fine. Now, what's interesting about this, guys, is the largest one, right? Derivatives. And a derivative is a little bit tricky to understand because it is technically the largest asset class, even larger than real estate, but that's because derivatives represent contracts of owner. They represent ownership, but they actually don't, they are not true forms of ownership. So it's kind of like it's kind of like the giant web that exists around the foundation, like the layers of finance that I'm talking about. This is kind of a way to interact with every layer, right? It's a little bit confusing, but it's defined as a financial instrument whose value is derived from the value of another asset, which is known as the underlying asset. Okay. When the price of the underlying asset changes, the value of the derivative also changes. So an example of this could be I own a share in a real estate investment trust, a publicly traded REIT. Okay. If I own shares in that REIT, that doesn't mean I own the title of this plaza, right? That they own, right? If they own some big plaza in Minneapolis or something, right? I don't own that plaza, but I own a share in the portfolio that they're selling, in the trust that they're selling access to, right? So it is not a product. It is not a true form of ownership. It's a contract that derives value from the assets that another entity owns. Okay. So this includes every asset class, right? It includes stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, currencies, interest rates, market indices, right? So why am I making this video? Right? The reason I'm making this video is to help you guys understand the real narrative behind the tokenization of everything, right? Because if we look at the current cryptocurrency market cap of 2 trillion, we have to understand that every asset can benefit from the properties of tokenization. Gold is on its way to being tokenized right now. Silver is on its way to being tokenized right now. Real estate is continuously being experimented with NFTs and things like that, okay? Stocks like Tesla stock, I think is already represented on like informally, not like in an official way, but I believe people have created little tools that allow people to get exposure to Tesla stock price movements with tokens. So the tokenization of everything actually means that that liquidity is going to be chasing blockchains. And this liquidity potential, right, is this derivatives number essentially, okay? All derivatives that exist today can and likely will migrate onto blockchains, guys. This is the real context to what we at Palaview are trying to let you guys in on, is that the tokenization of everything means that this 2 trillion number doesn't 10x over the next 5 to 10, 15, 20 years. It 100x's, okay? And the people who are able to create that migration, right? So like are able to create the tools, the products, the services that allow stocks to become tokens, that allow gold, allow commodities, that allow real estate to become tokenized assets are the people who are going to make the most money, especially those who are able to create the software that hosts the liquidity for those assets. Okay. So imagine like a Zillow real estate trading platform. You need to have liquidity that hosts that, for that trading to occur. Right. And so if you are owning and supporting and delivering a governance token solution for managing a software like that, that's where the real money is. Okay. That's where real value creation will occur in blockchain over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on the asset class. This is my vision. It's shared by a lot by a lot of people who are a lot smarter than me in this space. So you do your own research. All right. See you guys. Great.